Alright guys, just San here, back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And in today's video, we're going to be checking out the LR physical Goku and Piccolo, because I did get a comment on my last video asking to showcase them, so big shout out to that guy for leaving the comment. And these guys can still look pretty good, right? They're a relatively newer unit. They did release after the 200% meta. They were the Part 2 LR for the Raditz celebration, so, you know, they're fairly recent, and they're still really good. They've got the guard for the first 5 turns, which is really crazy. It makes it to where in, you know, any short events, they're going to be really useful, like, you know, these Super Battle Road stages, Extreme Super Battle Road, some of these Red Zone stages that really aren't going on for that long. You know, these guys will be really crazy. So a very good unit. However, once they do run out of the guard, you know, defensively, they're not really the best. I'll say that. They can get destroyed in some of these, like, really difficult events if you don't have type advantage. So you really just want to make sure you know where you're bringing them. But overall, a very good unit. Offensively, they're going to be crazy throughout any fight, right? But then defensively, you know, you just got to keep in mind after turn 5 or after they lose the guard, they can look just a little wonky. But before we get into the video, if you find yourself enjoying it at any point, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, keep in mind there are timestamps in the video, so if you want to skip around any part, then absolutely feel free to do that. And yeah, let's get right into it. So on this opening rotation right here, we are going to have 4 out of 7 links, so we're looking pretty good with that. We do also have some support from the Carnival LR Goku and the PICCOLO, so definitely going to be looking good in terms of support. And start of turn, we're at 343k defense. Okay, so that's not the craziest. I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, just for a start of turn defensive stat, but that's not really insane just by itself. However, of course, we do have the guard for the first 5 turns, which you have to keep in mind. And then we do also get 50% defense on our 18-key super. So then after we get that, what, we're going to be almost 600k defense, I think, maybe just a little bit under that. So almost 600k defense with guard is definitely very good for turn 3, right? In turn 1, he was looking the exact same as this, same defensive stat. So definitely really impressive. I mean, you know, this guy's defense with the guard is going to look really crazy. And then also, you know, if you've got him linked up with these really good partners, which is an issue with him, he doesn't have that many good linking partners, then you are going to have some damage reduction because you'll have Tough as Nails, which we don't have activated right here, so keep that in mind. But, you know, with Tough as Nails activated, you'll have, like, you know, almost 600k defense after he supers with 5% damage reduction. That's really crazy, right? That definitely is really good. You are surviving supers from some of these red zone bosses, even if you have type, you know, disadvantage or type neutral or anything like that. So that definitely is very useful. It really only becomes an issue with, like, defensively, they only really start to become a liability after they lose the guard, right? You know, after they lose the guard, then you're really just relying on their defensive stat. And unfortunately, even after you super, it's not high enough, right? I mean, 600k is good. Maybe for like a red zone stage you have type advantage against, but outside of that, it's really not the craziest, you know, versus Cell Max, right? They're going to get destroyed in the final phase if they don't have the guard. Or if you bring them versus like Red Zone Broly, right? I mean, they'll lose the guard probably by the time you hit the AoE phase. Or maybe the final phase, but regardless, I mean, you know, they're just going to take so much damage if they don't have that guard. But then if you bring them somewhere like, I don't know, Red Zone Omega Shenron, I mean, that second phase might destroy them because they do have type disadvantage. But if you manage to survive the second phase and get to the final phase, you know, you lose your guard, but you still have type advantage, and they can still get to like 600k defense after they super. So in some scenarios, even without the guard, they're still going to look good defensively. But most of the time, that's only because they have type advantage. So, as I said earlier, you really just want to make sure you know where you're bringing them. You're going to want to try and gear towards, like, shorter events. Just so they can obviously make use out of that guard for as long as possible. But, you know, just keep in mind, after the guard, defensively, they're not the craziest, right? But alright, so start of turn, these guys get 100% attack and defense buff, which is good. I mean, that might not seem the craziest to you, because only 100%. But keep in mind, they are a summonable LR. So, of course, 100% attack and defense definitely will get you pretty far. And then they also get an additional 200% defense when HP is 50% or more, which is very crazy, right? I mean, we said 100% attack and defense was good. 200% defense is definitely very good. And then they do also have the 5-key 90% attack and then the guaranteed guard for the first 5 turns, which after you lose the 5-key, you know, you might start to struggle with key with them because you do have to get a 24-key super for the attack stats to be like really good. So right here, because we're at 24 key, you're going to see a massive spike just in terms of their damage right here. So the extra 5 key for the first 5 turns definitely is very good. But once you lose out on that, it's definitely going to be a bit of an issue, right? But anyway, 14 million right there. we received an attack before we supered, so that means we had a guaranteed additional super incoming, which on that guaranteed additional super, we would have gotten an additional attack stack, right? So that's pretty crazy. 14 million, and we had a guaranteed additional incoming. Yeah, I mean, like I said, dude, the damage they're going to be doing is definitely going to be really crazy, right? I mean, regardless of what you think about their defense, I mean, the damage is just insane. And for the first 5 turns, their defense is going to be fine alongside their crazy damage. So, I mean, so far they're looking crazy, right? But on the next rotation, I think we do lose their guard. So then you will start to see, you know, defensively, they do unfortunately start to look just a little bit weaker. I say a little bit, but a lot weaker, right? I mean, they lose the guard completely, which, I mean, it's just the guard pretty much makes them defensively. So the fact that they lose that, it really is a struggle. But, I mean, like I said, you bring them in Super Battle Road. Obviously, those fights aren't going past turn like 4 tops. So, of course, in there, they'll be able to be very useful, or any red zone stages that are really short. And I guess it's kind of good right now because content is a little bit more shorter. I mean, supposedly with the way they've been designing units, obviously outside of this guy, units have kind of been directed towards longer content, I guess. Like, we've been seeing units with more build-up, you know, they stack and stuff like that. So, I mean, soon, I guess we might see a shift in content. But for now, you know, with content being short, this guy definitely is really useful in said content. So, all right, yeah, you could tell we are past the 5 turns of all those buffs because, as you can see, our key is a lot lower. So we did lose out on the 5 key, 90% attack, and then the guard right here. But our defensive stat stays the same, so I mean, I guess that's good. It's just now we don't have guard, so that is kind of unfortunate. But I guess, yeah, we can show his attack stat right here without the... Oh, wait, PICCOLO is going to get destroyed in slot 1. Okay. I'm just going to throw him in slot 1. We'll show his attack stat without the extra 90% attack now. We'll get a couple additional, you know, supers going on here because we're going to receive an attack before we super. And then we'll use an item on the next turn to bump their key up a bit because, unfortunately, their key is just kind of low now, so it's going to be kind of a struggle to actually get 24 key with them. But yeah, 2.7. So the fact that we didn't get a 24 key now because we lost some of the key, or we didn't even get an 18 key super because they also get some additional attack buffs with their 18 key outside of just the 18 key multiplier. And then also we lost an additional 90% attack. You know, it's just... They do definitely drop off after the 5th turn, right? I'll say that. But between the attack stacking and then, you know, I guess their active skill, they could still look good, right? I mean, I don't want to say they're just completely useless after turn 5. It's just you start to see their value take a little bit of a dip, and then you stack a lot, their attack stats look a lot crazier, or you get the exchange off. And then, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, right? Their attack stats just look crazier, but their defense still kind of sucks because... They're like, I hate to say this, but they're just a straight-up glass cannon once you exchange, right? I mean, Piccolo stacks defense, but it's too slow. I mean, because then by the time you're exchanging with them, you're going to be turn, like, what, maybe 7, 8, right? And then by then, you're almost at the end of the fight, and then enemies are hitting, like, insanely hard. So then you don't want to have to exchange and then have to worry about stacking. So then it kind of just becomes an issue. But, I mean, I don't know. Their active skill still hits really hard. So if you stack a bunch of attack, which obviously they do stack attack on their 12 key, and they've got additionals built in, so it is pretty easy to stack up a lot, then you can just finish the enemy with the active skill, which would definitely be really useful, because between them stacking and just doing a lot of damage in general, you know, their active is going to hit hard, or their exchange, I guess, but it does damage, so, you know, it's definitely going to hit very, very hard. I mean, we'll see. So that's good. Hopefully you can, you know, kill the enemy before you have to get hit with Piccolo, because, I don't know, I mean... I haven't actually used the exchange version of Piccolo yet, but I've seen a couple showcases on him, and I know his defense isn't really that crazy. But we'll see, right? I mean, you know, we're here on a 200% leader skill. We're rainbowed level 10 links. We got everything going good for him. So we'll see how he's looking, but I don't know. Again, I think my main issue with him is just after turn 5, it does start to become a little wonky to use him, because unfortunately, defense is just so important right now that if a unit doesn't have good defense, like, you can't really run them, right? I mean, I hate to say it because there's a lot of fun units that suck defensively, but I mean, it's just really how it is, right? So, okay, right here, we're over 400k defense start of turn. I mean, that definitely is good, because then after we super, you know, we're going to be at 600k defense pretty much on the dot, which is solid, I guess, but without the guard, it's really nothing too crazy. But right here, we do have the active. I guess we could just pop this, right? I mean, just to get it in the video. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get it in the red zone test because I want to see him actually tank. So I probably won't exchange with him because defensively he does kind of lose a little bit of value. So yeah, I guess we could just do this now. I mean, like I said, it's going to do a lot of damage. The animation is definitely really clean. So, I mean, it's a W, right? We'll see, right? Piccolo, always good. I love Piccolo, second best character in Dragon Ball. So, it looks cool. So, let's go and play this. Dude, I wasn't over-exaggerating when I said it does a lot of damage. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. 13.1. Definitely pretty crazy. And also, as you can see, we do nullify an attack. So that is really good as well. And then, of course, we exchange into Piccolo. Alright, so I figured we could just cut straight to the next rotation with the Piccolo. Because we're going to be looking really crazy right here, right? We've got the 60% defensive support from MVP 17. We've got the defensive support from the Carnival LR Goku. So overall, we've got over 100% defensive support. So right here, we're going to have 4 out of 7 links active. And we're at 233k defense. So with all that defensive support, we're at 233k defense. So you can kind of see what I'm getting at here. I mean, he is stacking defense right here on his 12 key, to be fair. But we're here on turn 11, and we've exchanged with him. So, or what we exchanged with him on turn 9, I guess. So exchanging on turn 9 and then stacking to become good isn't really that useful, right? It definitely is pretty bad because it's just going to take too long for him to be good defensively. But he does get some extra defense depending on how many key spheres you get. So we'll get this really quick and then we'll see what's his defense at. Okay. I mean, yeah, that's still not really great, right? I mean, that's just a little jump. So still not the craziest. He's still dying from normals too, not even just like supers. And even type advantage, this guy is still going to take a lot of damage, right? I mean, if you take him in Omega Shenron, and, you know, you get the exchange off. I don't know, man. This guy is still going to get clapped up, even with normals, right? Just because, like, what was that, 300k defense? Just not really the craziest. I mean, if you get a couple stacks in, maybe he can start to approach, like, 500, 600k. But even then, I don't know, man. It's just too late into the fight, right? I mean, that's my main issue with it. But as you can see right there, a very good attack's that. I mean, his damage is crazy. So, you know, that definitely is good. And we are tanking double digits. Okay. Actually, I was a little worried we were just going to die right there. I'm going to be honest. But I guess this event doesn't hit that hard, right? So at least he was able to tank double digits in the Legendary Vegeta event. You know, I'll give him that, man. That's something, right? That definitely is some value with that. So what Piccolo's doing, too, is somewhat impressive, right? I mean, other than his defense being kind of low. He's got a pretty well-designed. He's recovering HP, so he recovers 10% HP start of turn. And then also he does get 3 key and 100% attack and defense start of turn, which might not seem like the craziest buff to you. But again, for a summonable LR, that definitely is pretty high. He gets an additional 3 key and 100% defense with 3 or more key spheres obtained. And then he gets an additional 100% attack when performing an Ultra Super. And then he gets an additional 50% attack when performing an Ultra Super if HP is 50% or more. And then he nullifies he nullifies one of the enemy's actions within the turn when key is 24. So that is really crazy. If you're taking only one attack, I guess you could get away with running this guy because then you nullify the one attack as long as you get to 24 key, and then technically you're not taking any damage. And I mean, that is pretty useful, right? I mean, that definitely will work out in your favor. But of course, you know, that's only if you don't get locked. That's only if you don't get sealed. That's only if, you know, you get to 24 key, and that's only if you're taking one attack. So there's a lot of ifs to it. So it's not always guaranteed, which is why I think, you know, this guy isn't the craziest, right? I mean, he can be good in some situations, but it's just, you know, it's kind of all down to RNG, or all down to if this guy's taking a bunch of attacks or, you know, all that, right? So, okay, right here, we're going to be looking pretty good. We are going to have 4 out of 7 links active. Yeah, our defensive stat did drop a bit because we don't have as much defensive support right here, but we will nuke with him right here. I can already tell you he's about to hit a very good attack stat, right? I mean, he's doing crazy damage as it is. So now that we're doing a nuke test, yeah, it's about to be pretty crazy. So we are getting the Dokkan mode of the Piccolo in slot 1. I'm just going to try and intentionally avoid it. Wow, really? Okay, that was a horrible, like, just Field of Key Spheres. Wow, okay. We didn't even change any to physical on that first one there. Damn, alright. Well, let's get a redo on that. That one sucked. Alright, so we're here on a rotation with somewhat better Key Spheres, right? We're going to get 14 right here, so good enough, right? We're also going to pop the World Tournament Announcer item, so, I mean, we're going to be looking good. As long as Piccolo doesn't kill, which I hope he doesn't. I don't know, if Piccolo gets like a crit and then an additional crit, he might, because he also has the Dokkan mode going on. I don't know if the Dokkan mode actually has any buffs if I don't touch anything. Actually, that's kind of a good question. Because I think you only get the buffs for it if, like, you actually hit some of the nodes. But if you don't touch any of them, I don't know if it still, like, gives you somewhat of a, like, attack % buff or something like that. But regardless, we're not going to kill. Okay, good. I was a little worried there for a second. And we're at a 28.9 million attack stat. Yeah, that's very good. That is very, very good. 16.1 million damage, and we nullified an attack. Dude, look, their defense might be bad, but I can't deny that damage being just insane, right? I mean, their damage just majority of the time is going to be crazy. So, pretty impressive right there. I mean, as you can see, the 16 million crit. So, with all that shown, let's go ahead and cut to the red zone test. I'm thinking about bringing them versus Omega Shenron, just because we can see them tank for the first phase, and then we'll see them get absolutely obliterated in the second phase, but maybe I'll use some items to, you know, help us survive. And then we'll see them tank in the final phase without the guard, but they do have type advantage, so, you know, it should work out kind of good. Alright, so we're here fighting Omega Shenron. We are on the second phase. I did want to showcase them, you know, tanking from the first phase, but, dude, 8th year anniversary LR is just insane. He just one-turned it, basically, so... unfortunately, we can't see that, but I guess it's good. We're going to see him tank the STR phase with the guard. So then, of course, I mean, I think he's going to be tanking double digits right here, but I guess we'll just have to see. Now, Key is definitely an issue with him right here, even though we do have support, but still, we wouldn't have even gotten an 18 Key super right there. So, brought some items just to make it a little bit easier on him. So yeah, keep in mind we got some defensive support from the Carnival LR Goku. We're at 306k start of turn defense, so then after we super... I think we're going to be at 450k defense with guard. So that's good, right? I think that is double digits right here. Okay, we're getting supered first thing. All right, how much is this doing? 235k. Okay, so then after we supered, I think that would have been... I mean, it would have been well under 100k, so that definitely is good. But, I don't know, that still is just a bit of damage. But regardless, I mean, he still tanked it. 235k before we supered is still pretty impressive. And then our attack stat right there obviously was insane. And then we had the guaranteed additional, so we got an additional attack stack in as well. And then we got these guys just going crazy. Now these guys, I kind of want them to crit so we can get out of this phase as soon as possible. Because I brought items just in case, but I don't necessarily want to have to use them, right? I just want to get out of this phase as soon as possible. So then we can see him tank the final phase, still maybe with his guard. But I don't know, because then with his guard, he'd obviously be tanking double digits in the final phase. But I don't know, without it, he might take just a bit of damage. But I guess we'll just have to see. As long as these guys get their crits off, which they do have built in, and they have been getting that off, okay. Alright, actually, we're getting pretty lucky with crits and additionals, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, I guess it's good the Goku and Piccolo got supered, because if these guys got supered right here, I think they still would have taken just a bit of damage, even though they got the quadruple super, I think, 2 turns in a row. So defensively, they're probably a little over 1 million already. Which is just crazy. I mean, dude, the 8th year anniversary LRs. If you're a global player and you manage to save up some stones, in, you know, obviously after Golden Week, just hang in there a little bit longer, bro. We literally have 2 more banners. We've got Super 17 and then LR Boo. I mean, look, Super 17 is good, but, you know, I mean, come on. It's nothing compared to anniversary LR. Same thing with the LR Boo. So, I mean, dude, if you're on global and you've got like 100 Dragon Stones saved, just save like a little bit more, right? Because we're literally so close. So, okay, we actually did manage to kill him on that turn, surprisingly. I didn't think we were. So we're going to be able to see him tank a super on the next turn with his guard still activated. So, I mean, I wanted to make sure he was looking good in this showcase, and he definitely is. We kept the guard activated throughout the whole fight. And that is what I'm saying with like content being shorter now, right? Because as you can see, we're here in the final phase, and we're going to be with the final phase with the Goku and the Piccolo on turn 5. Wait a minute. I'm not going to gloss over that. What? A 21 million attack stat? Okay, wait. Okay, I mean, look, I know Piccolo's crazy, but What? Okay. I forgot what I was talking about now. That was insane. A 21 million attack stat from the Piccolo. Yeah, dude, Orange Piccolo, man. He's nothing to mess around with. He is a crazy unit. I mean, I guess that's a plus for the Goku and the Piccolo. Is right now this is their only team, or their only 200% team. And of course, Battle of Wits with the Carnival LR Goku. And Orange Piccolo is under the 200%. So if you've got Orange Piccolo, I mean, you could throw him on this team. And of course, you know, he'd be very good. So, okay, what we'll do is, yeah, I guess we could just throw him in slot 3. Yeah, I think we should be fine because MVP 17, I think we're below 77% HP as well. So I think he's got some extra defensive support, which is also benefiting himself. So, you know, we're just looking really good right here. He's got his damage reduction as well, so I don't think he should, like, instantly die. But just to be safe, pop a Senzu Bean. Now, we are getting supered in slot 3 right here. So as long as the... Oh, we're going to kill. Oh, damn. Okay, well, let's just see how much damage they do, right? I mean, if they kill right here, that's just even a better look for them, right? But we'll hop back in and then see how well they're tanking again. But I don't know. We either might just barely kill or kill by a lot. It really depends on the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta. Because if they get like a bunch of crits and additionals... Well, 9.87. So just don't crit. And then, you know, don't get the additional supers. Okay. Yeah, this can crit, but then as long as the next super... Well, as long as the next super just isn't super, right? As long as the next one is a normal. Oh, okay. I think we're going to kill right here, because Goku and Piccolo are going to do way too much damage. Right? I don't know. How much is this going to do? Oh my god, and they crit. Oh my god, dude, come on. Really? Are they going to kill right here? I'm going to be pissed off if they kill right here. Okay. Well, at least we get to see the Goku and the Piccolo's attack stat. I guess that's something. How much damage are they doing? They've got a couple of supers in. They're at a 12.1. Yeah, dude, 12.1 is just insane. We definitely would have been taking double digits from a super. Or taking double digits from normals, but I don't know how much we would have taken from the super. So let's go ahead and cut back to a situation like this where we can see.
冰淇淋，冰淇淋，冰淇淋。
Alright, so here we have Desperate Onslaught, Goku and Piccolo / Piccolo. So obviously he exchanges it to Piccolo. So their leader skill is Sand Saga or Battle of Wits category Ki +4, HP attack and defense plus 150%. Their super attack on their 12 key is that they stack attack, so 30% attack buff infinitely. They cause colossal damage. And then their 18 key, they greatly raise defense for 1 turn and then cause mega colossal damage. And then their passive is that they get attack and defense plus 100%. They get an additional 200% defense when HP is 50% or more. They get 5 key, and then an additional 90% attack, and then guard for the first 5 turns from start of turn. They launch a guaranteed additional super attack within the same turn after receiving an attack as the first attacker in a turn. So this is important to keep in mind because I guess this means like if you take an AoE attack from somebody, that doesn't mean you get your guaranteed additional super. If they're in like slot 2 or 3, they have to be as the first attacker in a turn. So just something to keep in mind with them. And then they do also get an additional 30% attack when performing an ultra super attack. And then they get an additional 70% attack when activating the active skill or when key is 24. And then their active skill is the effect is that it greatly raises attack temporarily, causes ultimate damage to enemy, and then they nullify enemy's action for 1 turn. And then obviously they exchange with Piccolo. And then the condition for that is that you have to receive an attack 7 times, or you have to be below 50% HP starting from the 4th turn from start of battle. So not the worst condition. I guess this is pretty alright. So you'll see it fairly frequently. I mean, it is typically at the end of fights, which is kind of a bummer, but I mean, you'll still see it, right? I mean, again, the active skill does hit very hard. So maybe at the end of the fight, if you use it to kill the enemy, it definitely can be pretty useful. And then their links are Experienced Fighters, Solid Support, Infighter, Tough as Nails, Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. And then their categories are Sand Saga, Battle of Wits, Joined Forces, Desperate Struggle, Connected Hope, Final Trump Card, and then Warriors Raised on Earth. And then when you exchange, does their link set change? No, I don't think it does. Yeah, it doesn't, no. So they keep the same link set, but then their super attack effects and passive obviously do change. So on their 12 key, now they stack attack and do colossal damage. On their 18 key, they massively raise attack for 1 turn, then cause mega colossal damage. And then their passive is that they recover 10% HP start of turn. He gets 3 key and 100% attack and defense. He gets an additional 3 key and 100% defense with 3 or more key spheres obtained. And then he gets an additional 100% attack when performing an Ultra Super. And then he gets an additional 50% attack when performing an Ultra Super when HP is 50% or more. And then he nullifies actions once within a turn when key is 24. So that definitely is very useful. But alright, that is the LR Physical Goku and Piccolo. Let me know what you guys are thinking of these guys down in the comments. Let me know if you think I was too harsh on them. I mean, I know I said they're kind of wonky in a lot of scenarios, but I mean, keep in mind, you know, you bring them in Super Battle Road, they're going to be great, right? So they're still a good unit. I just think after the guard wears off, you know, they can get destroyed, right? I'll say that. So once again, that has been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.